Started the router. Started Windows. Now it seems fine. I don't think it was the router. I think it was Windows. I think it's Windows. I blame Windows hides me. Okay, I'm just, the first part of this video is just gone, whatever. Forget about it. All we talked about was life is yours, buying soldering irons, you know, important stuff, certainly, but, you know, it's lost the ages. So, I don't remember what we were doing. We were trying to do that cool puzzle that Owen suggested. That was like the cool, was it this one? Yes. And we made just a handful of deductions. So I'll catch you up on this handful of deductions we have made. I'm gonna nicely compose this. Okay, so the handful of deductions we made were that because these 8 cells sum to 39, we know there's 6 left over to hit 45, which is always the sum of a box. Same rule applies over here because it's 37. We know that squares are even, I think. Squares are even, circles are odd. So that's all we had done. So we had just like truly barely even started. I don't really see the purposes of these 2 cages other than to give us these 2 digits, but okay, let's move forward. Finally, Grumbone. Am I streaming at 30, not 60? I don't even know I'm streaming at. Am I streaming at? I know you need a high frame rate for the Sudoku because I'm so fast. I forgot the new month started and now I have no subscribers again. How do you trick people into giving you their Prime subs? You just ask nicely. Okay, so this and this. These seem interesting, right? How do you make 8 in 2 cells? It's 1, 7, 2, 6, or 3, 5. But even more interestingly, is trying to make 7 in 3 cells is a little tricky. And I think the only way to do it, we know that 1 plus 2 plus 3 is 6. So if you have one more degree of freedom, you get 1 plus 2 plus 4. So I think that's the only way to do this. 4 and 4, you can't, Grimbone, you can't do that, buddy. You can't, that's like the rule of Sudoku. I mean, it does say normal Sudoku rules apply right there. But you're right, in non-Sudoku land. So we see that these have to be sequential. So that means the 4 is not here. So I think that just sticks the 4 up here. So like, we have a good start. So I'm very excited to see how I get stuck. Like, how am I going to get stuck horribly? This precludes the 7 and the 6 here. Because I said to make 8 in 2 cells. 4 plus 4 notwithstanding. You needed 1 and 7, or you needed 2 and 6, but that was not right at all. With the 4's up here. So I think the 5-3 combo is our only chance. So we have a 1-2 pair and a 4, and we have a 3-5 pair. Now, funny thing about a Rin band like this, these little ray gun Rin bands, when you only have 2 digits on a Rin band, it's really just telling you that they're sequential, right? So I think this is basically a white Krupke dot, but it's more fun this way because it looks like cool lasers. Are you suggesting that I look at these Krupke dots? I'm not ready. Given the remaining digits that we have in this box, which are, we have 1 and 2, 3, 4, and 5. So if we did this correctly, which maybe we did, maybe we didn't, the remaining digits are all high digits. Oopsie. 6, 7, 8, and 9. We see that 6 and 7 are knocked out of these immediately, leaving us with an 8-9 pair, which is going to make this a 6-7 pair. And then looking at what options we have to make these 2 digits sequential, I think 7, 8 are our only options. So this puzzle feels like it's going too well. I'm suspicious of how smoothly this is going. Why is it going so smoothly? It must mean I've made a mistake, right? To be sequential with a 6 on this little rim band, this is a 4 or 5. This little rim band is not going to have... Okay, maybe that's not the place to look yet. This feels pretty good though, right? That was a fun little jaunt. This is going to be a little crazy. Like the minimum... How can you do this? Oh, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's 5 digits. In my mind, it was like, wait, it's 6 digits. You can't do that. 5 digits. Oh, wait, does this have a weird rule about the arrows? No, arrows. It was the other puzzle that did. So the total. I'm a little confused here. Because all of these digits sum, maybe my instinct of saying like this is the sum of everything is not correct, because this is the 1. Because I guess you could have something like 1, 2, 5 on one side, and that would only be... I was trying to think what it means to minimize one side, but that makes the other side... Like you can't. You know, if you try to say this is the 1 and this is 2, 3 to minimize that, that makes this 4, 5, and that's 1, 4, 5, and that's 10. But you could do 1, 2, and 5 and get 8, and 1 or 1, yeah, with 1, 3, 4 to get 7. That's kind of funny how that works. Like, I guess what we're saying though is that you could never get a 7 here. Because if you do 1, 2, 3, like we just said, you push 4 and 5 here, and that's way too high. And if you minimize it without doing that, it's 1, 2, 5, which is an 8. Well, wait, oh my gosh, there's 7, 8, 9 right here, right in front of my entire face. So this just is a 9. It's not even up for discussion. Cool. If this is a 2, what's going on with this digit? I don't really know how to conceive of this, basically. Oh, and thanks for sharing this. It looks really cool. I like it. Like the intro has been really smooth so far, and then I just suddenly hit a spot where I've just confused myself. So ignoring the fact that I just confused myself, so far it has been fun. Okay, but I think this is forced to be a 9. So, and then I'm just trying to decide if there's some important rule about this, like saying that this couldn't be, like, this feels like this can be a 2, because you could have the 3. If this is 2, you could have like 7 over here. Yeah, you could have, if this was 2, you could still have 3, 4 over here. And you could have 5, 1 over here, and I think that's still fine. But I don't think you could make this 3. I don't know, maybe that's just not the place to look at. I feel like there's something, I feel like there's lower hanging fruit, like this triple. When you have crop key dots like this, you know there's not, well, in fact, you know it's kind of, it looks like 1, 2, good grief, 2, 4, like this, 1, 2, 4, or it looks like 2, 4, 8, or it could be the inverse, where there's 1, 2 here and 4, 8 there. The reason being, you can't have the 6, 8, sorry, the 3, 6 here on these black Kropke dots. How's it going, Plate of Milk? Oh, did you follow earlier from Pug Zoomies? Were you in that channel? Oh, thanks for the follow and thanks for stopping by. I appreciate that. How did that build go? I had to run and go get food. How did the compressor build go? Cool. So we're just doing variant Sudoku here. If you see something that I'm missing, you can click the screen and throw tomatoes. And I will try to look in that direction to know what's going on. Okay, so we were just talking about these black Kropke dots. So this is variant Sudoku, if you're not familiar, which is like insane rules that just sit on normal Sudoku, and every puzzle is a different set of crazy rules. So this one has a lot of different rules. Okay, you know, you're a variant Sudoku pro. Okay. So let's see. So I think with a 3-cell black Kropke sequence, we are, this is our optionality for that. For a 3-cell white Kropke dot, we're really just saying this is a sequence. So it's even more rigid than a rim band though, because it's saying this is a consecutive sequence and it is in order, unlike a rim band, which is not necessarily going to be in order. So given that, we're taking a 3-cell swath. It's hard to believe that there can be an 8 here. But there could be, because you could fit 5, 6, 7 in the middle. So I don't know that we know a tremendous amount about this yet. I mean, we probably do. Like, what did we decide? There's 1, 2, 4. So there's always a 2 over here, right? That is a reasonable statement. And if there's not a 2 over here, there's not a 1. Well, I appreciate that. I mean, it's funny, like I got into, years and years and years ago, I used to do Sudoku, pretty regularly, but just regular, normal, boring Sudoku. And then I didn't forever, and I forgot all about it, and I was way more into crosswords. And then I got into cracking the cryptic, which I'm sure how most people got into Sudoku in recent years, but just watching. And so starting early in the pandemic up until last week, basically, I was just watching cracking the cryptic all the time. And then something broke in my brain when Simon did that Fistamafel puzzle that had the constraint on it that was basically Picross, because Picross is also a game that I stream. And somehow seeing that was like, okay, I have to actually start excuse me, I have to actually start doing, just trying to solve these puzzles. And so I've only been streaming Sudoku for a week. And I have to tell you, I'm not very good at it. Okay, so what interesting thing, like a 2-cell German whisper is pretty weird. I mean, it keeps 5 off, which is somewhat useful, but otherwise it's kind of a strange thing. This black Kropke pair is probably under pressure from these. I mean, I really enjoy watching Simon solve, basically. Okay, I'm sorry. We have not made any deductions in quite some time because I've distracted myself. But so we have a sequence here that is a low-ish sequence. So it's like 1 or 2 or 2 or 3 or 3 or 4. It's definitely not 4 or 5 because that would break here. But do I bother putting those in? Like that it's a 1, 2 or a 2, 3, oops, or a 3, 4. But I don't think it's possible to have a 5 up here. We know there's not a 2 up here. Mind games, like manipulating streamers on Twitch. My games forever. Is that what that song is called? John Lennon. Is it Mind Games? It is. It's an alright song. That's the name of the album, too. It's a pretty good post-Beatles John Lennon song, right? Okay, it's alright. I feel like I've lost the thread a little bit from being chatty. 2 pair there, this 3-5 pair. I mean, that just says, oh, wait, well, that's sort of interesting, right? In terms of like what we have said is possible here. If you can't have a 1-2 here. And we know we need to leave some, we have to be like a little bit weirdly careful about sharing digits to the other side, because you'll, if you don't sort of like share some lowness, then you're in trouble. I mean, yeah, there's, it's funny because, I mean, obviously numbers are core here, but a lot of what it comes down to is more about patterns, I think, and constraints. I think constraints is how I'd really describe it, is like, you're looking for ways to like eliminate options to kind of narrow down on something. So it's that more so than it really is about numbers. I mean, because sometimes you do that and it's not even about numbers in terms of individual digits. It's just like high versus low, or things like that. Yeah, well, I mean, a Rubik's Cube is also a like reduction of entropy, right? You're like trying to take entropy and create order. So there's something like that here. So, okay, I'm going to focus here for a minute because we have not made a deduction in some time. It feels important. This 1-2 pair feels important. Because that means the lowest these two digits can be is 3-4. And that would be a 7. And that's okay, because you can put a 1 or a 2 here. The problem then, though, is like, what do you put up here? If we've used 3 and 4 here, then the lowest digits, I guess you could then do 1, 2, 5. Well, that's not 9, obviously. 3, 4, 7 would make that 2, but you could still just do 2, 1, and 5. So I don't know. I'm just... It feels like there's a constraint here. I mean, surely we can figure out an upper bound on this, right? Like, because the minimum... I mean, normally you would say a 6, but in this case, gosh, depending on how you distribute these, it's really funny. It's hard to, like, knowing that 1 and 2 can't be here, I'm sure there's just something that I'm just not grasping. I would like to get the 5 here, because that would give us the 5 here. But that would mean the 4 here, sorry. The 2 here, the 2 is ruled out of here. That rules out 1 from here entirely, right? Rules out a 2, but this could be 3, 4, 5, all the way up to very high digits. These little Rin bands are so weird. I don't know that I fully have grasped what a little Rin band means, other than the implications of where a 5 can be. This row, we've used all our high digits, but like these digits just don't feel very important, at least right now. There's a lot of options here, even though there's pressure from the top. I mean, just to enumerate them, it's 1, 2, 4, 8 because of the relationship there, but then you also add 6, 3. Same thing here, 1, 2, 4, 8, but you also add 6, 3. I didn't really appreciate that there was a 2 here. Oops. Okay, so by knocking the 6 out of this, we knock the 3 out of this. So, okay, there's not a 2 here. So that immediately removes a 1 because the only one can only go with 2s. 2s, of course, it removes. You can still have 4 because 4 goes with 8. But that does make this a bit higher. And then the sequence here does not look very attractive. I mean, it feels like more options than you want to, or at least than I want to think about. Hadn't really, it's got to mean something that they gave a 2 here, though. Because that was the only given digit, right? Yeah, do it. If you like, I definitely recommend going to Logic Masters Germany and picking my strategy. In fact, I would say if I was going to recommend a solver, a setter, just search for Logic Masters Willpower and just pick any, Logic Masters Willpower, and just pick any, any of them. Any of them, like just look for like 90%. And I've enjoyed pretty much every willpower puzzle I've done, and I found it really approachable. Okay, I apologize, everybody. I'm definitely moving slowly here. But, well, okay, this sequence is a little bit more limited than you might think, but not super limited. The 3 normally would have 2 and 4, but obviously we can't have 2. So that's only 4 on that side. The 4 can have 3 and 5. The 6 can have 5 and 7. And the 7, the 8 can have 7 and 9, but we see a 7 and we see a 9. So actually that's a little bit more limited. It's not great, but it's better than I initially had thought it was. I don't know if that was really worth doing, though, honestly. Okay, it feels like it's here, and I'm just. We haven't for sure said there's something on here, right? I don't think we have. Okay, so what does this mean? That you can't have a 1, a 2, or a 4 on here? Because 3 cells summing to 9. There just has to be some truth that you can say here about like what these can sum to. Well, they sum to 9 twice, right? So the total of this is 18. Is that fair to say? That the total here... But this digit counts twice. That's what's so funny. Whatever you put here counts twice, and then and then the total is 18. So I think that's why it's hard for me to wrap my mind around. I'm not sure that I've ever seen this particular pattern, so I just I'm definitely being a bit slow on it. So okay, let's think about what that means. So, like for example, if you put a 1 here, that's kind of counting as 2 for the total. So if we just said let's try to minimize this, I just want to see. I mean, obviously you can't minimize it like this. Let's try to put something that could be right. I mean, that's clearly wrong. It's already clearly wrong. So I don't know. It feels like it shouldn't be too hard to figure out this digit. Like if we're saying this is a 1, then you have to say how to make these 5s. I don't know about saying that, like making that at, saying like, oh yes, this is definitely, fact, can we just... You can have up to a 7 on a 3-cell arrow, right? And have a 7 plus 2 plus 1. So normally 7 would be the maximum. If you were to say these were like 1, 2, 3, 4, for example, that's only 10. And that would make this up to a 4, no more than a 4. Because if you're minimizing these, and you know that this digit essentially counts twice, working towards 18, 1, 2, 3, 4 is 10. This counts essentially twice there, so if you have 5, you have too much. So this is only 1, 2, 3, or 4, I think. And 1, 2, and 4 are ruled out of here. Fully ruled out of here. As far as the largest number you could have on this, we did say it was 7. And so you could still have a 3 here. And you could have a 5, 6, or a 7. Oh. Well, that forces it, right? I mean, if these are truly the only options that you can have here, not 1, 2, you can have a 3 and you can have a 5, gives you 8, and you have 1 here and gives you 9. So that would seem to say, unless I'm doing that incorrectly, that this is a 1 and this is a 3, 5. There's an easier way to see that if you just minimize this, but for some reason I didn't. So I think we can take the 1 out of there. Okay. Oh, and does that check out with you? Does that logic seem sound? I think it's sound, because if we minimize this, it's 3, 5, so that's already 8. Plus 1 is 9. So that would have been the way easier way to see it. I don't know why I went around. I don't know why I went about it in such a convoluted way. And then if we minimize this, it's 2, 4 as 6, which is too little. If we minimize this, we already have 1, 3, and 5. So is that fair to say? Like, we already have 1, 3, and 5. So if we minimize this, it's 2, 4, and that's 6. So the next step up we could go is 7, which would be 2, 7. And that would be, that's too much. Wait. Did I break this already? I don't know. I'm sorry. That took me way too long. But now it almost feels like I broke it. Oh, no. I can have 2, 6. It just has to be in this order. Sorry. Yeah, it couldn't have a 7, because you can't have 7, 1, 1 to be 9. You can have 6. You can still have the 2. It just means the 2 is here and the 6 is here. Okay, I'm definitely being slow. 8 and 2 cells without 3 and 5. Yes, is very. I'm definitely. I don't know. My brain's moving slowly. I apologize. I blame the flusteredness because I was streaming for half an hour trying to get the internet to work. So, I've really been streaming for an hour. It's just the first half was a waste. But okay. Let's focus now. 1, 2. We've got a 4, and we have 8, and we have 7 to place, and we have 8, 7 in the columns. We get 4. We get a 7, 8 pair, and that 7, 8 pair is going to knock the 8s out of here, but I think it's still, we can leave the 4s because we still have the 2s. And we knock the 8s out of here, but knocking the 8s out of here on this side, the 4s are no longer, they can't do anything. So we do get a 3, 6 pair there, which is going to knock the 6 out of here and the 3 out of here. So these black crockies, that's a 2, 4, and that's a 3, 6. And so this sequence here is whatever, 2, 4, 5, 7, and wait, oh, there's a 7 up there. And there's a, we ditch the 2 and we ditch the 7, so this ends up being 4, 5, kind of the inner portion of that. And then the sequence here is 1, 3, 4, 3, 5. Okay. I knew it. I don't know. Whatever. I don't have a great excuse. I knew it was down here. I just was making it more complicated than it needed to be. I think it's because I watched a Cracking the Cryptic video that was about the sum, about that you could only solve by doing like sums of arrows. And so for some reason my brain was like, okay, wait, I have to do the sums of the arrows, and I didn't have to do that. It was not a requirement for this puzzle. So these columns, oh, well, we've placed our 5, so that's good. That's good news. And if we place the 5 here, we know we get this 5, right? Because it's not on a black dot and it's not on a little stubby rin band. So that puts 5 in the sequence up here, which is good to know. So, and we're saying this is 3, and these are like weird little sort of, okay, we end up with this 2, that little sequence there. So we've got a little sequence with the 5 here. It can't have a 3, so it could have a 4, sorry. Or can it? Because we have, do we always have a 4 here? Because this is 1, 2, 4, or 2, 4, 8, right? Is there also always a 4 here? There's okay, 1, 2, or 4. Sorry, 1, 2, 4, 2, 4, 8. So there's always a 4 here as well. So when I should have seen that earlier. So this is not, so this I think just is 5, 6, 7 then, right? Is that fair to say? I kind of like this puzzle, that there are just little, like, I don't know, there's just crazy stuff all over it. It makes it hard to sort of know what the flow is, or like where you're supposed to look next, but I do like it. So right, so we have those pairs. So one's over here somewhere. So what do we want to do with this information? Sorry, I keep getting texts. So this really is like a 5, 6, 7 triple. Where's 9 go up here? I think just here, right? I hope I did this right. I think I did. All right, I think 9 can only go here. And then this is going to be whichever digit isn't, because there's like a hidden 1, 8 pair here, sort of. Okay. And then what else is left here? All these pairs. So it's like a 6, 7, 8 on that side. This one is not as good. like 1, 1, 6, 7, 8, but not 6. I think that's right. No. 1, 4, 6, 7, 8. Whoa, there could still be a 1 here. Sorry. No, there couldn't. That's 1, 2 pair. Okay. So this is 1, 4, 1, 4, 6, 7, 8, which I don't know if it's worth really pencil marking. So this weirdo, it means this is a low digit and it's not a 5 and it's not a 2. So that's 1, 3, 4. Is it worth doing, like, pencil marking the polarity of these? Definitely tempted to, but for like 2-digit sequences, I don't know if it's really. That's not a 4, because that would have to be next to a 9. Good grief. Sorry. Okay. It's just my sister. So. 1, 3. I mean, is it worth? We just don't know the polarity of these or anything, so I don't really know how to say anything about them. Just a quick gander to see if anything worthwhile is restricted based on what we know. There is a 2 down here, I guess. Which would have to go with 7, 8, or 9. This is like 2, 7, 8, 9, I guess. And some, but it's like a weird thing where it's a pair with the low and the high. So, oops. It's kind of a weird one to pencil mark. I don't know. That doesn't really feel that useful. This 2, you know that 2. There's a 4 in here for sure. Something else in here that we knew for sure was in here. The 6, 7, 8 triple doesn't mean anything. I'm sure I'm missing something. Oh, we've got all these pairs here. So it's probably worth doing this. So that is a what? That's a 9 and a 1, 2, 3, a 9 and a 5. Oh, no, a 5 right there. Okay, should have seen that. Okay. Anything with our newfound 5s? It does knock a 5 out of here. Oh, we knew, well, we knew. Did we know that? Now I'm a little confused. If 5's not here, it's not 5, 6, 7 going this way. So I think that means this isn't 7. But how could there be 6s on the... How could there have been... If this just is 5, 6, 7, isn't 6 always in the middle? And why is that just a bafflingly, was that just an extremely obvious thing that I was not, that I wasn't seeing? Okay, I feel like this is not a hard puzzle and I'm just making it hard by... You did it hard? Nice work, Plate of Milk. I'm taking a puzzle that isn't hard and I'm making it hard. Nice. Where did you do it? Did you do a normal Sudoku, not a variant, or did you do a variant? Nice. Okay. You gotta do normal. I mean, sorry, you gotta get some variants in there. Okay, so we just know these, right? So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this is another 7, 8 pair, and that's resolved. So 8, 7. Okay, I'm really, I know I've been making this harder than it needs to be. Oh, you'll do great. I mean, you can't be do worse than I have been doing. Like I'm just missing such obvious stuff, like 5, 6, 7, and not realizing like, oh yeah, there's only one order for that. But oh well. The fives feel, I guess they're not as constrained as they seem. Also, I'm weirdly having a difficulty in this puzzle, like deciding where to go next. Oh my gosh! Oh, and like the Sudoku classics, like pure Sudoku classics. I did. Was it because you linked it and I went and watched it? I can't remember that one that was like a classic that Mark had done. That was like you had to spot a triple and then spot a Y wing. No, you had to spot a triple and then spot a swordfish and then spot a Y wing. I did not. I tried to solve it and I made it up to having to solve the Y wing, spot the Y wing, which I've heard of a Y wing, but I didn't know how to spot one. I actually knew how to spot a swordfish, but I didn't spot it in that puzzle. Yeah, those are. So it's funny because I've definitely seen variant Sudoku that is based on the swordfish concept, where you get like a pattern, that looks like this or whatever, and then that a swordfish tells you that there's pressure on the rows because of the pattern in the columns or vice versa. But a Y wing is a weird one. I don't know. I don't feel like I've just seen a Y wing. Okay, this is 1, 3, 5, and what? 6. See, now I'm doing the thing where I'm just pencil marking, and it feels like I'm missing the point. Like there's something that I'm supposed to be doing here that isn't pencil marking. So this could be 2 or 4, but it can't be. So 1 makes it 2, 3 is 2 or 4, 6 is 5 or 7, and all of those are ruled out. So this is just 7. So this is just 6, and that knocks the 6 out of here. We have 1, 3, 5. There's quite a bit of pressure down here. So this is 1, 9. 2. This is 1, 9, 3, 5, 8. But it's just in here with an 8. Okay, that was not worth doing at all. Okay, no, I'm just. This is not the thing to be doing. Like pencil marking down here is not actually helping anything, I don't think. Unless I'm ending up with pairs that I'm missing that are somehow useful to me. So okay, not fruitful. It still doesn't feel resolved. We decided there's a 4 there or there. I guess I should just look at Sudoku. The 2, 4 up there. I don't know. This one, my brain feels like it's not attuned today. We do. Oh, we just get a 5 because we know that's even. Okay, that's helpful. That gives us the 3 here and the 5 here, so that cage unwinds. And that gives us a 5 here. So that was going to push the 5 in there. So that becomes a 1, 3, and that becomes a 1, 3, 5, 8. But I don't think we can go further than that with 5s. 6s. We got a 6 in here. How did we roll 6? Oh, okay, I see it. But that's just a 6. Well, we get 6 here or 6 here, and that's not quite resolved, but we're getting some digits. 7. In here. Any other 7s? That 7-8 pair is giving me grief. And then 8s we know so little about. 9s. Okay, but we got digits just now, so what did that do for us? There's got to be pressure on these, for example, right? Look, we said there's a 2 here, we just don't know why. It's funny, like these short little stubby rim bands, I just don't have any intuition for, but it's kind of the only thing we haven't looked at yet. Like every other clue we've at least addressed, so it seems like it has to be them. I don't have an intuitive, like one of the 2 of these has a 6 on it, which is going to put a 1 next to it, which would be useful. Because if this is the 6, that's a 1 and that's an 8. And if this is a 6, that's a 1. So the 8's up here, so that's a 1. Girth's symmetrical. Wait, say that again. Wait, what? Girth's symmetrical displacement. Okay, I'll have to look that up. It sounds nuts. Okay, is there just somewhere that has a ton of pressure on it that I just should like fill in, do some pencil marking? Let me get all the 5s, right? Oh, not quite. I have 3, 5 here. It's like a 6, 7, 8 triple. I feel like none of these spots are speaking to me. I'm worried that I've done the thing where I like over pencil mark and then it's hard for me to know where I should be looking. What seems fruitful? These rim bands are pretty weird. I think I do have to just start coloring them. It seems silly to do with 2-digit rim bands, but like just to get my mind in the rim band mode, you know, because I can see there's 6. What would be great is to like find one that I'd ruled all the high digits off of or all the low digits off of, just to get parity for free. I'm not really seeing that. Like this digit could be 1 or 2, not 3, 4, 5, 6, or 7. It could be 8 or 9. And then this digit could be 1 or 2 or 3 or 4, but not 5, 6, 7, 8. But there is a 9. So I don't know. It just doesn't feel quite like there's enough. There are 2 here. So that does mean this is just... Could be 1, but not 2, not 3, not 4, not 5, not 6, not 7, 8, 9. Is that really true? That can only be 1, 8, 9? Really? I kind of don't believe that. But it appears to be true. Okay, so that's only 1, 8, or 9. this is not as, I feel like if I feel like I want to know about more about ones. I don't feel like I know very much about ones. This one pair, I know there's a one over here. There's certainly one up here somewhere. That's a weird, like, broken. This 1-9 pair. It's not very helpful. Yeah, it's 2-digit. I think I called that a red band. I mean, sorry, German whisper. Yeah, killer. Maybe don't start with killers if you don't like arithmetic. Killers are all arithmetic, really. I like it. Go for a good old-fashioned German whisper where you just are looking for like high and low digits. Okay, I really apologize. I feel like I'm blundering here. Is there something that's under more pressure than it looks like it is? Sometimes that is my problem, where a digit is under tremendous pressure and it just doesn't look like a digit that is under pressure to me. 1, 2. Problem that is 1, 2, 3, 4 options here. So that's 1, 7, 8, 4. But none of those are ruled out. And it just doesn't really help that much with the... Is there some, like, magical property of German whispers, 2-digit German whispers that I'm missing? Like, it really looks like high digits are... That 5 already. 6s. 1 is just a very sad story. Am I doing the thing where something is already resolved and I'm just missing it? That's also a very classic me maneuver. Oh, wait. We know there's a 2 on here. The 2 on here is the low digit. The 2... Okay. I'm sorry. We decided for sure there's a 2 on here. Somehow we decided that. How do we decide that? Because of this. So the 2 is the low digit on here. It just is. There's not another low digit here. So it's not also a 1. And it's not also a 3, and it's not also a 4. It just is a 2. So we know that it's not. So does that help with anything as far as like where? How did we rule 4 out of here? I guess just based on the fact that there wasn't a 9 on the high side is how we did that. So one of these is high and one of these is low. That's low. So we essentially have 3 highs and 2 lows spoken for here. So high, high. One of these is a high and one of these is a high. So that's all the highs. So this is a low digit. So it's 1, 3, or 4. And one of these is high and one is going to be low. So the low that goes here seems possible that the low digits, so the low digits we have available high digits we have available are 8, 9 on either side. The low digits are weirdly asymmetrical, and I think the only low digit that's available, if this is the low side, knowing 2 is in here somewhere and 3 and 4 is there, that the only low digit available on this side is the 1. If this side is the low digit, though, then the low digits can be 1 or 3 or 4, but not 2. It felt like a whole lot of thinking for no results. I mean, we removed some options here. We still know that there's like a low high. Okay, I'm gonna do a little more coloring. I readily admit that I'm missing the point for sure. Maybe that's low. Micropies green, because that's what Pterodarch likes to do. I feel like I'm having an inordinately hard time with this puzzle, like harder than it is actually supposed to be. This is going to end up being a low-high pair. As far as like what's looking into here, I mean, I really am tempted to just color everything and just try to decide what's looking. Like that as a high can only be 9. It feels like there's so much pressure down here. Sorry, up here on these two lines for them to like flip one way or the other, but oh man, doublers are crazy. Okay, I'm gonna fill these in. It's like a defeat fill in. So this is 1 or 2 or 4. We rule out the 2 only. I was thinking about 9s. This still could be up to 4 with a 9 on this side. And this could be 1, 8, 9 that side, no problem. And this could be 2, 8, or 2 and 8 or 9. And these. Two are, well, that's something. 2 and 4 are spoken for up here. Okay, 2 and 4 are spoken for up here. For sure, right? Like those are allocated. And we need a low digit here, but it still feels like it could be like one of these is 3, 4. Wait. Oh, we don't know the 6 is there, actually. So sorry. On the low side of this, not 3, 4. 1, 3. The low side of this could only be 1, 3. I don't know which side is the low side. but whichever side is the low side is only 1, 3. Seems like 1 or 3 aren't pushed up or down yet. And then the high digit feels like it can be like anything. Really anything. There's no high side pressure here. Oh, sorry, there's a 6 here. Okay, well that was not the most useful. 1 or 3. If this is the high side, it's 7, 8. If it's the low side, this can only be a 9. I don't even know that was worth pencil marking. It's just that, like, 1, 3 are the options here. Gosh, I really am having a hard time. Let me just make sure. I don't know the order of any of this stuff yet, right? Two-cell German whispers are hurting my feelings. There's not any other vertical pairs except for here, right? And all that's doing is pushing a 1 over here. But it's still possible. I mean, wherever the 6, oh, well, that's kind of interesting. Okay, let's think about this for a second. I don't know if this is a useful thing, but it's something I just noticed, is that on these whispers, which are what are remaining in row 2, 6 is definitely on a whisper. So, in other words, one of these is definitely a 1-6 whisper, right? I think that's fair to say. Like, there's nowhere, I can't put a 6 here. So, and these, there's no, so one of these has a 6 on it. And if you have a 6 on a German whisper, it has to be next to a 1, right? I can see that there's no 6 here because of this. So I think that means the 1 can't be on this particular whisper. So I think we do at least get a high side here and a low side here. I don't know. What to think about that, really, but that seems like a thing that's true. Now the issue here is it still feels like we could have a 1-6 here. And the same rule I don't think applies for the 4, unfortunately. Like, it'd be cool to have a 4. Okay, well, another thing to think about is that the 7 is going to have to go with a 1 or a 2, but we've just claimed the 2 for the 6. So, well, no, sorry, because the 7 is not, the 7's not under the same pressure, actually. And the 9, the 9 is on a whisper. Right? Just, you got to think about, I guess, what's not in these 3 digits. or can't be in those. So 9 is also on a whisper, but that seems fine. Like, because I don't see why it could be over. It could be over here. That's okay. So we got some coloring here. The 7 is under some pressure. That can't be a 7 though. This can't be a 7 because if this is a 7, it doesn't go with the 3. If this is a 7, it can't go with the 3, so it goes with the 1, but we just said that we have to have a 6-1. So I think you can say that's not a 7. But so what? Well, okay. So the 7, that means the 7 is somewhere in here, right? The 7 is somewhere in here. But if we put the 7 here, it has to go next to a 1 or a 2, but the 2 is not available, so it'd be next to the 1, and we've already said we have to reserve the 1 for a 6. So does that mean this is a 7? Is that really what this means? That feels like there had to have been an easier way to see that. That feels like there had to have been an easier way. Okay, so now we know this is 2, 4, 8. I hope that was right. I'm deliberately not looking at the chat right now because Owen's going to be making fun of me for making that way harder than it was supposed to be. Sorry, I should have been paying more attention. What did we actually just do? So we ruled, I said that was a 7. Ruled 7 out of there, which I think places 7. Or did I just break the... No. That places 7. No 8 there. That seems to complete that column. That seems to make this... Well, that removes the ability of this to ever be that removes the ability for this to be 1, 2, 4. So this can no longer be 1, 2, 4. So this is 2, 4, 8. And we get the 2, so we get the 4. So we can remove the 5 from here at least. Sequential with 1 or 3. We have a 1, 3 pair here. So we get the 8 and the 5, and we get the 8, and we get the 3 and the 5. That was, the way I saw that was not easy to see. I will say, like, that doesn't mean there wasn't an easier way. I feel like definitely could have been an easier way to see that. Okay, does that total to 7? It seems to. But I think the way that I saw that, is that really the way to do it? Because that felt much more challenging than the rest of the puzzle. So we have an 8, 9 pair here. So this is the 2. Uh-oh, I broke it. I broke it. Unless I was just missing an option. Wait, what did I do? What were the options there? Hopefully that was just bad pencil marking. I really hope it was just bad pencil marking. Okay, I'm gonna try to re-pencil mark these, but that's very concerning because it seems like I broke the puzzle. That would be very sad. So 1 and 4, and then what else is missing? There's 3. How did I just not pencil mark the 3 earlier? Okay, I think. Okay, yeah, it was a bad pencil mark, unfortunately. Oh, Plate of Milk. There are some chess variants, chess-based Sudoku variants. You might like those if you're into chess. Oh, in Logic Masters Germany, you can search by chess variants. If you want to try a chess variant, you might like a chess variant more than you like a Killer Cage variant if you are not a math person. But if you go to search. Sorry, if you go to advanced search, then down here at the very bottom, I think, yeah, you can search for chess variants and say, if you like, show me the nicest puzzles that are chess variants. They're probably often very hard though. Yes, very hard. So I would personally in my search probably cap it to 1 or 2 stars. Yeah, there's at least king and knight. I bet there's more. I bet people have done more with like queen and bishop, and I mean, but well, so we could also do this. We could do this. So my normal search would be show me the easiest puzzles that meet a certain criteria, and then say the rating is say greater than or equal to 90, or sorry, like 85. And then search for, say, we want chess puzzles. And so, yeah, here, there's some easy ones. Looks like we've looked at some of them. Here, I'll give you a link to this particular search. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if someone did. In fact, I know there is. There's a Sudoku where each of the digits is a different chess piece, I think, or it was something very similar to that. Okay, Plate of Milk. Let me know how it goes. Okay, I have to finish this in the next 20 minutes, or my neighbors will be mad at me for being loud. So, yeah, I really am hoping that was just bad pencil marking on my part. So 1, 2, 3, still 4s. Still 9s. Okay. Cut out the 9, cut out the 4. I'm still, I don't know. It felt like that was hard. It felt like what I just saw was hard. There had to have been an easier way to see it, right? We have an 8-9 pair here. That's good. We have a 1-3 pair. That's good. So that 4 is going to force this 9, force this 8. We get a 6 here, an 8 here. An 8 is actually fine in both of these cases, unfortunately, but that does now seem to finally lock the 6 and give us the place that we've been waiting for, that we know exists. Oh, actually, I could have rolled out this 1 a long time ago. As soon as we got this 6, we should have known that is the 1, and that is the 3, and that is a 1. The 4 is going to have to go next to a 9. We get the 3 down here, and the 1 down here, 3 here, 4 here, 1 here, 3, 4, 9. So it's pretty much all the clues. So now we just have Sudoku left, which is, of course, the worst part of Sudoku. It seems like we need a 7 here and a 3. Place the 7 here. We are missing 2 and 9, I think. And we are missing... I'm extra bad when things are half colored, but I think we get the 8 and we get the 1. Oh, and it was correct. I was going to actually take a second and try to verify that. I don't like auto solve. Don't check on finish. Because I just like to go through and make sure the rim band rules check out. So, that was fun, and it was really good. Oh, and thank you for sharing that. I did like that puzzle. The Viking Prime definitely has some interesting puzzles, for sure. I need to do some more Viking Prime puzzles. I'm just going to say that for me, that last bit of logic with the placement of the 6s and the 7s on these 2-digit rim bands was really challenging. I think that, or way more challenging than I would normally consider a rim band, because a rim band, sorry, not a rim band, German whispers. The rim bands were easy in this puzzle. The rim bands were basically just white crocky dots, just that were made into rim bands to look like cool lasers. So a 2-digit rim band is very easy because it's just a white crocky dot. A 2-digit German whisper robs you of some of the most, or like one of the most useful things about German whispers, which is like the sequence, the high-low sequence. So we didn't get the like, oh, you just find the parody in one place and the parody's unraveled. All of these had their own independent parody. We could rule off 5. We could never do the thing, where you can rule off a 4 in the middle or whatever. But that was challenging to me. There may have been an easier way to see it, but to really understand the implications of like, oh, there has to be a 6-1. It's a requirement because there's definitely a 6 on a rim band. And then to understand that like, oh, we can't put a 7 on a rim band because it would rob the 6 of the 1. So that was a really interesting piece of logic. That felt like a level of difficulty above the rest of the puzzle, at least for me. But it was good. It was good. I have no complaints about it. I guess that just felt to me like, wow, that just feels a little harder than everything else in the puzzle, where everything else in the puzzle was just like, oh, if you just follow the rules that are presented, you'll get it. This was harder than normal arrows, but only because I made it harder, because I, for some reason, convinced myself, that it had to be hard. It's only a 1 star, so I'm the only one who thinks it's hard, apparently. Anti-night is a little upsetting. Anti-night, so I think that you would call that a negative constraint, meaning you're looking for something that isn't true instead of looking for something that is true. And for me at least, and I think it's a fairly common position, is that negative constraints are harder than positive constraints. Excuse me. Okay, that feels like it took more time than it should have taken me, but so we were looking for theaters, the Viking Prime. It really is a nice looking grid. That's one of the things I like about the Willpower ones, or how much effort he puts into like making aesthetically pleasing. Okay, the digits on row 5, which are 9, 2, 6, 1, 7, 5, 3, 8, 4, and the digits on column 9 is 8, 5, 3, 2, 4, 1, 9, 6, 7, which is, this is the hardest part of the puzzle, is for me to type these in correctly. I'm going to say easy. Not very easy, because I thought that was a challenging piece of logic, but I think it was very nice. I think that was really cool. I think the interplay of those 2-digit German whispers is really interesting. I've been looking at them. And I do appreciate you sharing those. I've been looking at them. Interior's been looking at them as well, and that is how I picked which puzzle to do today, was based on your suggestion. So I really do appreciate it. I do have to stop the stream though, because after 10 o'clock, my neighbor will get very cross and bang on the wall. But I did buy some. I did buy some soundproofing panels. To try to be a good neighbor. Very squished. So maybe I'll put the soundproofing panel up. And maybe in the future I will feel like I can stream a little later, but
all right. I'll tell you the truth.
They're like unbelievably tightly vacuum sealed. Shocking. Oh, they smell so bad. Oh my gosh. They're very, very, very thin as well. Phil Powered, how's it going? I could just wrap these around my head and kind of nip it in the bud, you know? Kind of like cut it off at the source. Oof, those need to air out a little bit. I'm doing okay. This was a really fun puzzle. This one was very cool. It's definitely... So I definitely made part of it way harder than it should be, but I do feel like that upper German Whisper thing was a step above simple. Maybe that's just what the kids call copium these days. Earlier on the stream, I was working on this thing, and I did do the print of it, and it actually turned out okay. I took the speakers out, but the general design is not bad. Oh, and you know Phil Powers? Small world. Phil Powers' normal purpose is just to occasionally just appear out of nowhere to remind me that I'm bad at C or C++. Just like every once in a while, a cloud of smoke, Phil Powers is there and is like, what are you doing? What's wrong with you? That's not true. So Phil Powers is always a welcome visitor. What was I going to say? Oh yeah, but I am having problems with this. Okay, I'm going to spend the next 5 minutes, just because we have time before my neighbor will be too mad, is I want to use a custom image. So anyway, long story short, we need to re-image that that Raspberry Pi, but I was having trouble with the silly imaging software for reasons I don't understand. Should we raid somebody now that everybody's leaving? Now that people have left. I should raid before everybody signs off, but oh well. Wait, people don't like imaging streams where you just image a... Did that really decompress to 2 gig? Can you, maybe you don't have to, can you point this to a zip file? Will it find it? Yes. Yes. Okay, maybe you don't actually have to decompress. I did want to try to start another print before bedtime. Made some minor changes. Okay, who should we raid? What are we doing over here? Android. I mean, I do like this editor theme. So maybe we'll have a tiny raid. I already forgot which project this is. Figaro. This is what we were working on. So the print turned out better than I thought, actually, and I think I fixed some of the main problems. I think I still should shrink the width by a couple millimeters, maybe. Because we took a little bit off, like, how do you do the measure? I, I for measure. That doesn't look like 5.5 millimeters. That look like 5.5 millimeters to you? This line to this line, 17. So if we wanted that to be closer to ½ an inch, which would be like 12.5, we could probably subtract 5 millimeters from both sides. Would that be fair to say? About 5 millimeters off of both sides? What do you think about that? Other people might call that 10 millimeters. So this becomes 150. That definitely screws up this. How's that look? Looks cool. Looks pretty cool. I think it looks cool. We tried to fix those little lip things. I'm still not convinced that's really the way to do it. The problem with printing this in black is it's kind of hard to tell if it's gonna look good. We probably could have gone a little further with our speaker holes too. Like, kind of a greater distance with them. Should we? I don't know which sketch that was. Which sketch has the speaker holes? I thought it was this one. Like, if this distance was 6, this was 6, that would be silly. I guess they don't really have to be there are more holes. So many holes. I don't know, I changed my mind. Changed my mind about the holes. Did this, what is the problem here? Is my SD card bad? Reached end of FAT32 root directory, but no end of directory marker found. Is that a problem with the image, or is that a problem with my SD card? Wait a minute, did you already do it? Which puzzle did you do? Okay, I'm gonna kick off this print tonight. The Raspberry Pi thing is baffling me. Hey, that's still pretty good. Congratulations. It is very easy. I did. I went into like disk manager and totally deleted the partitions and it could be a bad card. It's like SD cards have a. I don't know how old that card is. I might have written to it 7 million times or something. Congrats, Plate of Milk. So let's. I'm gonna do this. Okay, I really should figure out the raid if we're gonna do it because I definitely have to stop streaming in a couple minutes. Okay, let's raid Techie Girl based purely on the exciting I mean, you know, I don't actually know anything about Kotlin. Is that like the thing that is kind of Java is but not Java? Is that what that is? Or is it something else? I've never used it. So, oh yeah, it interoperates fully with Java and the JVM version. Yeah, I just don't have any experience with it at all. Zero. I see. Okay. Okay, well, let's do this raid. So I will do this in a minute. Unless there's something cool here. No. I hit the wrong button. Okay, well, Phil Powers, Plate of Milk, Owen, thanks for stopping by. I really appreciate it. That was a cool puzzle. Owen, thanks for the suggestion. Life is yours. You probably went to bed. Terry, you're already in bed, but definitely appreciate everybody hanging out. Grimbone, I think I gave up and got mad. Is there any way to say, for some reason it's in my mind is like, oh yeah, Kotlin is it Kotlin or Kotlin is to Java as TypeScript is to JavaScript, but I don't know, that's probably not actually true. But it does seem now like there's more languages like that where it's sort of like, there's a language that's okay, but if we just like built some scaffolding around it or something, we would like it more. Okay, Kotlin. Okay, I'm gonna start the raid. Thanks everybody so much for hanging out, and I will see you all next time. Bye.
And server-side development. Do you use Ktor? Or do you use something different? My Techie Droid bot is built in Ktor.